All right, well, I'll start by congratulating the Florida Panthers on winning the series. Once again this year, they have an excellent hockey team. I thought they played great. They managed the series and the games within the series really well. They never shot themselves in the foot, and they deserve to win. With regards to our team, it's always disappointing when we're eliminated because we lost in the first round, and because it's the third year in a row that we lose in the first round. Unfortunately, it's going to obscure how good of a hockey team we have. The history is written by the victors, and when you win, you are perceived as being better than you actually are, and when you lose, you are perceived as being worse than you actually are. But the reality is that we have one heck of a great hockey team. Like, we have a Vezina Trophy finalist goaltender. We have a scoring champ / Hart Trophy finalist. We have a Selke finalist and could easily have had two. I think when the voting results are revealed, I would expect that Victor Hedman will have finished 4th or 5th in voting for the Norris. We have 4 35 goal scorers, 7 20 goal scorers, the third highest scoring defenseman group, an outstanding head coach, an outstanding coaching staff. That's the makeup of a really good hockey team. We finished 1st in the league in goals for, 4th in goals against, 5th on the power play, and 6th on the penalty kill. Like, in the 20-season history of the salary cap era, only 8 teams can say they finished in the top 6 of those 4 categories within the same season. 5 of those 8 teams won the President's Trophy for having the best regular season. And of those 8 teams, 4 lost out in the first round of the playoffs. 3 lost out in the second round of the playoffs. 1 made it to the Stanley Cup Finals. None of them won the Stanley Cup. Like, it's really hard to win a championship. You need a really good hockey team, but you also need breaks along the way. And the reality is that only one team gets to lift the trophy at the end of the season. And I think in our business, it's important for us to be ambitious with our goals, but also realistic with our expectations. We are striving and trying to win the Stanley Cup every year here. And I foresee that being the case for many years to come. But the reality is that even with having a great hockey team, even with having a legitimate Stanley Cup contending team year in, year out, most seasons will end in disappointment. It's just, you need breaks along the way. But first, you need a really good hockey team, and we have a really good hockey team, and we're going to have a really good hockey team again next year. I really enjoyed this season's team. I really enjoyed how they played. I enjoyed how they competed. Almost everyone's under contract and coming back. We have some young players now that are pushing to play a bigger role on the team, and the future is bright for our organization. I would say I'm excited about our future. It's significantly more so today than I was a year ago. Right now, on the one hand, I'm disappointed that our season's over, but I'm also really excited for next season to start and for us to chase a championship again next year. Eric?
With the way the current playoff format is set up, do you almost have to kind of build a team to beat the division teams?
Well, you don't know who you're going to play. Up till the last week of the season, we weren't sure where we were going to end up. We weren't sure where the other teams are going to end up. So you have to build the best team possible that has diversity in how it can play and depth. And again, you need breaks. I think we had all the pieces, but so does Florida, so do a number of other teams. And then it's who's healthy, who plays well at the right time, who makes the most of their breaks. A lot goes into it. But I think you're alluding to, should we build a team to play Florida? What if we don't play Florida? Yeah.
You talked about the improvement that you guys made from last year to this year, and I think the guys all talked about how they felt more equipped to go on a deep run. Last year you were focused on getting better defensively, and you were very honest about that. Is there anything this year going into the offseason that you're looking at?
I think, I just ran through a bunch of numbers in my introductory statement. If we match those numbers next year, I'm going to be ecstatic. It's really hard. So there's not one area of focus per se. We also haven't had time yet to debrief on the season. When I look at our underlying numbers, they're pretty good in every category. So I wouldn't say that there's something jumping out at me like last season. We definitely need to be better defensively, and we definitely needed to be better 5-on-5. Right now, I can't say that there's something that's jumping out at me. I would hope that next season our play replicates this season. I'll be really happy.
Julie, we already heard about a couple guys maybe being injured that we didn't know about. Do you have a list of those?
Yeah, I have a list here. I'll read it off because I'm not a doctor. I'll start with Oliver Bjorkstrand. He suffered a left thigh acute compartment syndrome. He was injured in a game here on April 11th. I would like to highlight the fine work of Dr. Sean Lannon, who was our covering orthopedic physician that night. So I don't remember if it was a shot or a hit that injured Oliver, but he finished the game and left the rink a little stiff. And then over the course of the night, his leg was swelling, and Dr. Lannon made a house call at 2 a.m., saw how serious the injury was, or the situation was, with potentially bleeding in his leg, rushed him to the ER, and they performed surgery on him in the middle of the night. If they hadn't acted that quickly, the injury, the rehab would have been considerably more serious. But because of Dr. Lannon's quick and prompt and over and above service that he provided Oliver that night, he was able to limit the damage, and now we expect Oliver to make a full recovery. So that's one. 2, Anthony Cirelli, right knee, grade 2 MCL sprain, suffered early in game 1 here. He should be fine after a few weeks of recovery. Luke Glendenning had a right shoulder AC joint separation, injured in the game during April 9th. That's why he missed a few games. Gutted it out to play during the playoffs. Yanni Gourde broke a finger during game 1 of this series. Brendan Hagel suffered a concussion. You all saw that. Victor Hedman broke his foot during game 4. Nikita Kucherov had a left hand extensor injury he suffered on February 25th. Again, our AT team, our athletic therapist, did a great job managing him and getting him through all these games. And Nick Paul has a tear in his left wrist that he will see doctors about this week to see what next steps are for him. But we would expect all of these players to be healthy and back for the start of next season.
How much do you think in particular, not having Oliver available for the entire series, and then, you lost Brandon for the one game and then the second game, like that, how much
They
does
add
that
up,
affect?
right? One injury, we have to be able to overcome 2, 3. But now game 1, Bjorkstrand's not there. Cirelli's not there for most of the game. He's not there. Gord's got a broken hand. He's trying to figure out during the game. They add up. Then we have a game where Hagel barely plays. There's a game where he's suspended. There's another game where he barely plays. They all add up. But that being said, I am convinced Florida has a bunch of injuries too. Their guys are playing through stuff. Some is somewhat apparent, I would think, if you're watching them play. That's part of what you have to overcome to win a championship. It's not an excuse for not winning that series. It's just part of what you need to be able to overcome.
Eric had mentioned he had something happen to him.
Yeah, he has a left knee, or one of his knees, contusion that he suffered from a hit in game 1. He was able to play, and I thought he played really well. But yes, he has an issue that should resolve itself.
Julien Vazzy was pretty down today, and he's so honest and open during times like this. And he spoke about being more resilient and being more, ton of attention to detail. How do you kind of look at the entire group, despite of all the fantastic numbers in the regular season, and realize that, all right, what can we do in the postseason to make sure that that type of team comes out at that time?
We'll have a chance to debrief. Vazzy's numbers, the first game, we barely gave up anything. They scored 3 goals that we have as less than 10% odds of going in, and I can't blame Vazzy on any of them. It's just pucks bouncing. To me, the most random bounce of the series happened maybe at the most inopportune time, and it's Seth Jones's goal in game 4. We are playing pretty well during this series. We're down 2-1. We're playing pretty well. We didn't give up anything the first 2 games, lost both. Game 3 is actually the game we gave up the most scoring. Some of that is score effect, but gave up the most scoring chances, but we find a way to win that game. Game 4, everything is going against us, but we gut it out and we find a way to take a 2-1 lead. And now we are on our way for what I'm watching again, going, this is going to be the gutsiest win of the 15 years I've been here. It's unreal how we're overcoming everything and playing great. There's a 16-minute stretch. I think they have 1 shot. And we're giving them nothing, and we're controlling play the way we're controlling the game the way we want to control the game. We have a 30-second where we're not playing really well. They scored the second goal. Okay, it's 2-2. Still, everything's under control. Let's get the next goal. Seth Jones takes a shot. In his shooting lane is Ryan McDonough, arguably the best shot blocker in the game. He's in position. He's square. If that puck is a millimeter lower, it hits his blade. If it's a millimeter higher, it hits his boot. Either way, it ends up in front of him. It goes through the holder of his blade. It's almost impossible for the puck to fit there. So now Vasi's expecting a shot to go a certain angle. Not only is it not coming from Seth Jones anymore, it's coming through a skate as a butterfly and goes in the net. Now they're up 3-2. Like, that's a fluky goal. And along the way, you need some of those. It was still a 2-2 game. We were down 2-1. Doesn't mean we would have won the series. But when you catch a break like that, it can go a long way. So I thought Vasi was really good. I think he had a .936 save percentage, games 2, 3, 4. And some of the goals that went in were fluky goals. But that's part of what you have to do in the playoffs. You have to get pucks and bodies to the net, and sometimes they go in. You have to create your luck, too.
Julien, Kiki talked about how much it benefited him to go to Syracuse and come back up. And Gage had a great series. I think he had 4 points. So just curious, like, what your perspective is on some of those younger guys that were able to step in big time moments.
Yeah, kudos. Connor Geekie has an unreal mindset. I am so impressed with his maturity, his introspection. He has the right balance of confidence and humility. That's why I know he's going to play and he's going to help us for many years. He went down with a great attitude, worked his butt off there with the great coaching staff that we have there, Joel Bouchard and our development people, put in the work, and you could see his game come back to life while he was there. I saw the game last night. Unfortunately, Syracuse lost, and they're now eliminated. He played really well, generated some chances, and was competing really hard. Again, he has unreal attitude, and I thought that was very beneficial for him. He was really good in the last game here, too. You're playing as a 20-year-old going up against the Stanley Cup winning champs in a playoff environment in the middle of this rivalry. It's a big ask, and I thought he handled it marvelously. Gage Goncalves, I think of all of our players, has showed the most growth in a year by a significant margin. After he came back from being assigned to Syracuse the second time, I think he was a transformed player. Playmaking, defensive reliability, forechecking, compete, physicality. He raised everything to a really nice NHL level, and he's turning himself into an NHL player. And I think he's 24. That bodes well for us as well to have those 2 young guys. And then Lilleberg's only 23. He already has 2 playoff runs, or at least 2 playoff series under his belt. J.J. Moser, I think, is 24. We have those young guys, and we have others coming in Syracuse that are going to be pushing for a roster spot next fall. We haven't had that in a while, and that's exciting as an organization because now we have guys who can add depth and do so not just in the short term, but for many years to come.
Julien, just looking forward to where's the roster in the offseason. Gord's a free agent. Yeah. Obviously, you have a few other free agents. McDonough is entering last year of his contract. Where you kind of sit on maybe some of those kind of topics as you kind of go into.
We're going to go through all of those. All the players whose contracts are up this season. I called their agents yesterday just to kind of give them hey, we're aware, we're on it. Let us get through our internal meetings, one-on-one meetings with the players. At the time, I didn't know if Syracuse was going to extend their season. But we're going to get to all of them. Next week We're gonna have some meeting with the coaches as well, kind of debrief on the season, on the series, get everyone's thoughts. We have pro meetings coming up. We're gonna do everything we can to have as strong a roster as possible. All the guys that are here I like, and there's a possibility for all of them to come back. Odds of them all coming back are small. Some of those guys are unrestricted free agents and might want the opportunity to go to a different organization where they might be able to play a bigger role. So we'll see.
Julian, on the topic of young players, a lot of people still interested where you stand with Isaac Howard, and is there a chance that you still sign him, or is that kind of?
Well, I would say, I really like Isaac. He's a likable player and a likable young man, and I've enjoyed all my interactions with him, including throughout the process of this off season. He had an unreal season. He won a Hobie Baker, well deserved. He's going to the World Championships now for Team USA. I'll be interested in seeing him play there. The reality is we haven't been able to come to an agreement that is mutually acceptable. If that doesn't change, he will become a free agent on August 15th of 2026. And if that were the case, we're going to receive a compensatory second round pick in the 2027 draft. When I chatted with Isaac, he was really candid, and I appreciated his honesty, and I thanked him for his honesty. He values the opportunity to choose the club that he believes is the best fit for him. And I won't speak for him, but he values that. And right now, I would say it's unlikely that we will sign him. So the scenarios are either he gets traded prior to August 15th of 26, or he goes to free agency on August 15th of 26. Those are the two likeliest scenarios.
Was that a little bit of a surprise, Julian? Because I know when we spoke in the middle
A
of the
little
season,
bit, yes.
there was some optimism.
Yeah, because I had regular communication with him and his agent throughout the years, and our development staff, JP Cote in particular, he spends a lot of time with all of our prospects. So it's always a possibility, but yeah, it was a surprise.
A little off topic, but Max Groshchev, he was playing some defense down in Syracuse. Like, what's kind of the idea with him moving forward?
Kudos to Joel Bouchard. Like he works with those guys every day. He sees them. He's on the ice during practice, and obviously goes through a tremendous amount of film of our players. He saw the potential for Max to maybe be a better NHL defenseman than NHL forward. And then Max was suspended for a period of time, and we decided to try it for, he's not going to play games anyway. Let's try him at D, see how he looks in practice. He looked really good. He showed promise. So we decided to put him in games, and he's looked really good in games, even last night again. And he's excited about playing D now, and he's excited about how this might increase his odds of reaching his goal of playing in the NHL. So that's kudos to Joel and his staff there, and to Max for buying in and being excited about the opportunity. He's looked really good on D. He's been noticeably more productive as a defenseman than he was as a forward.
And you anticipate any changes to the coaching staff?
We're not planning any changes. Coop will be back. As for the assistants, the reality is there are 8 vacancies right now for head coaching positions in the NHL. We have really good people in our organization. I won't be shocked if some of them are offered positions as head coaches somewhere else. And if that's the case, we're never going to hold someone back. If that's what they want to do, we'll support them. But as of now, we're expecting everyone to be back unless someone gets a promotion somewhere else.
Julian, I know that we asked last year about Cooper's contract, going into what we thought was his last year's contract.
Cooper will be back next year. Cooper will be back because, A, he's an outstanding coach. 2, more importantly, he's the best coach for this job. 3, I really enjoy working with him. I am appreciative and grateful for our partnership, and I expect it to go on for many years to come, regardless of how many years he's got left on his contract. When this contract ends, my expectation is he's going to sign another one, and he's going to be here for a while.
Is his term beyond next year?
I don't want to get into the term because it's almost I think it's a false narrative, the idea. What's important is who the coach is and what their job security is. I understand that question. That's relevant for our fans. That's relevant for our players. It's relevant for our organization. I'm not worried about John Cooper's job security, nor should he be. It's a false narrative to tie whether it's a head coach or a GM's contract to their job security, because it has nothing to do with job security. It's all about financial security, because most people, head coaches or GMs that get fired, have term on their deal. And usually when you go to the, for lack of a better term, if you play out your contract as a GM or head coach, usually you sign an extension anyway. So Coop will be back next year, and I expect beyond. Yeah.
Just with Nikita Kucherov, just two outstanding regular seasons back to back, but in the playoffs, what is it about Florida that has given him some fits there these past two series?
Well, I think first of all, what Nikita Kucherov does in the NHL, he makes it look really easy. It's like the level of difficulty is incredibly high. That's why no one else plays like him. That's why no one else produces like he does. And I said earlier, like, history is written by the victors. Like, we're going to remember, because that's the case, and Florida won the series, we're going to remember Sergei Bobrovsky's saves, like a bunch of saves in the second period of the last game, instead of Vasilevsky's phenomenal saves in the first period. We're going to remember the performance of their forwards instead of the performance of our forwards. Like, Kuch still had 4 points. He was involved in a bunch of scoring chances. I think game two, the game it was 1-0 game at the point with 30 seconds to go. Kuch is in the corner, and he does one of these only Kuch can make plays off the wall to the slot to Pointer. Like, if that puck goes in, the game's tied, and Coop's added to his legend. Kudos to Sam Bennett. He came back at the last second. He got a piece of Pointer's stick, but the puck's on his blade. If we win the series, everyone's talking about Kuch's assist to Gensel at the start of the third period of game 3. Last game, he, again, one of those out of the corner, there's 6 guys, feels like there's 6 guys on him. Obviously, there can only be 5, but he puts it on the tape of Pointer in the slot again. It didn't go in this year. Just didn't go in this year. And I remember after one of the games, Coop is watching a video on the plane, and he's going, it's unreal all the great plays that Kuch did tonight. And no one's going to see him because no one's paying attention. Like, I think it comes with being a superstar. That the expectations are what they are. They're sometimes unrealistic. He did a lot of good things for us, and he helped us win this series. And I know because the coaches went out of their way to mention how good he was on the bench, how positive he was on days off, how he's one of the leaders that was selling what we needed to get our players to buy for us to be successful. Kuch is a genius, and like many geniuses, he's sometimes misunderstood. But I am ecstatic that he's on our team, and I wouldn't want it any other way.
And then my last question is, a lot of fans and everybody bringing up sort of the physicality of the series. Obviously, there were a pair of suspensions, but just for you, how do you feel about this team handling the physicality in this series, the forecheck? Just what are your thoughts on it?
Every playoff series is physical. I don't believe that this one was any more physical than the others, to be honest. I'll leave it at that.